pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows.
U Petrinskoj bolnici i u vrtiću kažu da su se i one djelomično urušile, stižu nam nažalost vijesti da i tamo ima ozlijeđenih. Imaš li informacije o tome?
Evo, upravo svjedočimo situaciji i čini se da je jedno dijete stradalo u ovom zadnjem potresu i čini se sada da su članovi njene obitelji.
Dijano Majer, dobar dan, dobrodošli u program N1 televizije.
Dobar dan vama i vašim gledateljima.
Ako mogu primijetiti,
potres.
Upravo je Dobro se zatreslo.
Evo, osjetili smo snažan potres i dalje se ljulja cijeli studio. Baš jak potres. Za sada nemamo nikakve informacije o kojoj snazi potresa je riječ, ali po onome kako...
Welcome to the news hour. We begin with breaking news coming out of Croatia, which has just been hit by a strong 6.4 magnitude earthquake. Local media is reporting the town of Petrinja is at the epicenter. That's around 50 kilometers from the capital Zagreb. Widespread damage to buildings is being reported, but as yet no casualties have been confirmed. Now, the earthquake was felt in neighbouring Bosnia and Herzegovina as well as Serbia, and neighbouring Slovenia has also shut down a nuclear power plant as a precaution. Let's get the very latest from our London News Centre and Nadeem Barber, who's monitoring events. These are very sketchy details coming in at the moment, Nadeem, on one of Europe's very rare seismic fault lines.
That's right. It is a region which is no stranger to earthquakes. Now, our colleagues, our Al Jazeera colleagues locally have filmed dramatic pictures in the town of Petrinja. It's a town of around 20,000 inhabitants. And in that video, you can hear church bells ringing. You can see what seems to be smoke in the air as they pan around the town. It's the dust and the material from the debris of mainly old properties which have been damaged or destroyed in this earthquake on Tuesday. Now, as you were saying, it's magnitude 6.4. It's strong, but it was registered by the US Geological Survey as having a depth of 10 kilometers, which will mitigate how much damage it can do, luckily. But the mayor in Petrinja has confirmed that there has been one death so far. And in the footage, you can see rescuers or people dragging out a man and a boy from a car which was underneath rubble, which came from one of those old properties. Now, just on Monday, there was another earthquake, which also had its epicenter near the town of Petrinja and was felt in Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, as well. And that's the same in this latest quake. It was also felt 50 kilometers away in Zagreb. Now, just in March of this year, an earthquake hit Zagreb itself, causing 1 fatality and 27 injuries. So a reminder that this is a region which is prone to tremors like this. The residents in...
An earthquake has hit Central Europe, causing damage and panic near Croatia's capital of Zagreb. The magnitude of the quake, striking at 7:30 a.m. local time, is 5.0, with several smaller tremors following the initial one. There have been no immediate reports of injuries. Buildings in towns 50 kilometres south of the city have sustained damage.
Potpuno se urušila zgrada. Nadamo se da nema žrtava. Gospođo, ste dobro? Auto je potpuno slomljeno. Ne znam, unutra nekako. Isuse Bože. Izgleda da je netko...
Zato obdobje, kar povzroča slabo voljo in napetost med skupinami in generacijami.
Croatia. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
The coronavirus pandemic has ravaged communities and cost millions their jobs, leading to food insecurity across the country. According to the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, food distribution has increased 145% since the start of the pandemic. Donations are up 140%. And at some distribution locations, more than 7,500 families have been given meals in one day. Cars started lining up this morning for food at Santa Monica Airport. And as demand rises, the coronavirus is taking its toll on the volunteers delivering meals to those who need it most. NBC News correspondent Gotti Schwartz has more from Santa Monica.
That's right, Corey. This food bank is now wrapping up. They went a little bit long because there were so many people that were coming in to get this food 2 days before Christmas. You've got the volunteers loading up these cars filled with all kinds of goods. You've got fresh fruit, you've got milk, and you've got stuff that can sit on the shelf for quite some time. But one of the things that we've heard from the people that are collecting this food, that are getting this food, is that it's not just for them. They're going back to their communities. Many live on streets where not everybody has a car, so they're able to give some of that food back to the people in their immediate vicinity.
In travel, but there are many families who won't be able to put food on the table without help. The historic number of jobs lost, another 742,000 filing for unemployment claims this week, and unexpected medical bills have created a surge of families desperate for food. And while a number of charities, agencies, and schools are stepping up, Congress is still at a standstill, not making any headway to pass another bipartisan coronavirus relief package. Kira Phillips has the heartbreaking toll this waiting game is having on our fellow citizens who are in desperate need of help.
She found that in the first few months of the pandemic, the number of Americans who didn't have enough to eat surged from around 8 million to nearly 30 million.
This has revealed some big holes in our safety net, but they're holes that Congress can fix.
Since the pandemic started, as many as 7 million people have enrolled in the federal government's food stamp program, now called SNAP. Shazenbach says Americans need at least a 15% increase in those benefits to survive, but negotiations over the next COVID relief package are stalled in a lame duck Congress.
Do they not believe that so many people are hungry? Have they not gone out to see what's happening at these food banks and food pantries?
Those impacted the most are Black and Latino Americans, especially those with children.
We were in need of food.
Catherine Wynn, she's a mother of 5. She lost her job as a housekeeper in San Antonio during COVID.
You have to decide if you're going to pay a bill or not, or decide to go get groceries, and maybe your water or your lights might get turned off the next month or something.
It's down to that now?
Yeah. Down to that.
This pandemic can be challenging for so many, and if you've ever gone to bed hungry or did not have enough money to buy groceries, you know that feeling stays with you.
ABC Action News reporter Michael Paluska is going full circle on the food insecurity crisis growing in the Bay Area because of this pandemic. And he finds out that while Thanksgiving brought out the best of us to give back, more people is still needed.
I'm Michael Paluska. Many people may not realize that COVID is the crisis that we're dealing with in 2020, but food insecurity is also a huge problem, and we are in a food crisis. Feeding Tampa Bay is busy like this every single day, providing 2 million meals a week.
Where the lines to get free food were half a mile long. Half a mile.
From New York,
there are still quite a few cars out here.
To Texas,
hundreds at least still in line.
California,
110 tons of food distributed to Oahu residents.
And Hawaii, no state spared from the fallout of COVID-19. America is in a pandemic of hunger, food lines never ending. These news reports are from the start of the pandemic. Since then, the need has only gotten worse.
Feeding Tampa Bay held what they call a mega pantry.
Tampa Bay is no different. The high cost of our war against COVID-19, leaving some families broke, destitute, homeless, and unable to buy food. Pre-COVID, 600,000 people in our area were food insecure. Now, 1 million plus.
And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and famines and pestilences and fearful sights. And great signs shall there be from heaven. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh." And he spake to them a parable. "Behold the fig tree, and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand." And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
不是会写，哇，就不是会写，就是这样。回答是到618。是到6018，连本来613。
这个是日系好吗？快拍饭，我操！视频。真去拍饭。
The boom heard around central New York. Good evening, everyone. I'm Christy Casciano.
I'm Jeff Kulikowski. A way to get your attention on Thursday afternoon. That humongous boom rattling the region just afternoon, about 12:15 today.
We got so many calls, so many emails from many of you all over central New York asking, what was that? News Channel 9's Adrian Smith is live at Hyde's Corners in Liverpool. And Adrian, so it sounds like, seems like you've done some investigating on this. It's a fireball that caused it.
Christy, that's right. Hundreds of central New Yorkers have been asking, what was that loud noise? And well, that boom heard and felt across central New York. That's right. It is supposedly caused by a meteor, and the American Meteor Society actually calls it what Christy just mentioned, and that's a fireball. And it is a meteor, but it's actually louder and much brighter than a traditional one. And this one was actually entering the atmosphere in Toronto. Now, a fireball, again, it's that type of meteor that's larger and much brighter. But a spokesperson from the American Meteor Society says that because of the cloudy skies and the overcast in central New York today, many were actually unable to see it in the sky. But tons of our viewers on social media were commenting they heard the noise from as far as Madison and Oswego counties and right here in Onondaga County as well. But it wasn't just the Central New Yorkers who heard it. On the AMS Fireball meteor tracker, there's now a total of 90 other eyewitnesses who actually saw it and heard it themselves as well. They're from Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Canada, and they also heard that boom. Now, again, Christy mentioned too that this isn't the first time it happened, and the spokesperson tells us that it actually happens quite frequently. And the last one that happened here in Central New York, that loud boom that you heard maybe a year ago, that was in September of 2019. Live in Liverpool, Adrian.
Also, New Jersey, mystery booms. Residents and police in one community want to know what and who are behind a series of extremely loud noises that sound like explosions, and they've been rattling a lot of people in town for weeks now. News 4's Ted Greenberg investigates.
We live out here because it's quiet.
They say it's disturbing the peace and quiet that people in Mullica Township are used to.
Oh my God. Yes, I just heard a really loud bang, like it shook the entire house.
Over the past month, police have gotten numerous 911 calls.
There was just a tremendous explosion nearby.
From folks hearing extremely loud noises that sound like explosions.
It's been happening once a week. I mean, it's almost blowing our houses off the foundation.
Over the weekend, they were so close to my house that it made us uneasy, that just something's not right. A little bit between a shotgun and a cannon.
It just sounds like it's a bomb dropped on a plane.
The repetition was just seconds apart. It just just put questions in my head. You know, are we being invaded or that kind of thing? That's how severe it was.
Mullica Township Police working to zero in on who and what are causing the sounds. The source so far still unknown.
At this point, it is a mystery, and we're currently trying to triangulate the area of the sound.
One challenge that police are dealing with is that the reports of the sounds have been coming in from people across a roughly 10-mile span.
We're asking if anybody has any knowledge or contact with the individuals that are responsible for this to report it to the police department as soon as possible.
Authorities aren't aware of any damage caused by the booms, but people who keep hearing them say their nerves are rattled.
I hope somebody figures out where it's coming from, and I hope I don't hear it again.
Ted Greenberg.
I was sitting here watching your news here it was about 7:50. All of a sudden I seen my curtain move on my back door. I felt this like percussion.
Yeah, big boom. He heard and felt it in Youngstown, and many more of you did as well. We took your calls about it. We made our own, trying to figure out what caused a loud noise. It was heard from Ohio to Pennsylvania. Although we still can't tell you what caused it, we've been able to rule some things out. Here's First News reporter Nadine Grimley.
The noise heard around the valley.
It was a loud, bang, felt like a bomb may have gone off.
I thought it was a house explosion down the street.
No house explosion. We checked with authorities, but the sound was heard from Girard to Greenville, Pennsylvania, and other places in between, like Belmont Avenue.
It felt like the ground shook.
The sound was captured on Nicholas Serra's home surveillance camera just after 7:45. The source of that noise remains a mystery tonight, but it doesn't stop people from having their own theories.
It actually rumbled the bed, and that's how I actually woke up, because I didn't know what was going on, almost if it was an earthquake.
Not an earthquake either. The U.S. Geological Survey reported no seismic activity. We've also been able to rule out a meteor event, and since it was heard over such a large distance, a blasting specialist with ODNR tells us it likely wasn't a mining blast too. Representatives from nearby Metallico and Valorex say it didn't come from their sites. So where did it originate? We still don't know, but we're told this isn't the first time.
I would definitely like to know. In fact, I was looking earlier today just to see if I saw anything, and I hadn't seen anything.
In Girard, Nadine Grimley.
It is directly a result of what you do today. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. A lot of pain and suffering did that.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Hi there guys, just a video to attempt to counteract the wave of propaganda that is starting to sweep over the planet regarding Tiffany Dover, the nurse whose video has gone viral after getting the COVID-19 vaccine and then fainting on live TV. If you haven't seen it, first she gets the vaccine.
Staff, we are
and then
to get the vaccine.
in the interview shortly afterwards,
so therefore, my team will be getting first chances.
This is what happens.
And I know that it's really. I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy.
She's feeling a little dizzy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And there she goes. Right, so this is American nurse Tiffany Dover. She takes the COVID-19 vaccine on live TV, and then some 17 minutes later complains of feeling dizzy and collapses on the floor. So what we're starting to see now is a whole surge of articles. Here we have new details revealed about viral video of nurse fainting after COVID-19 vaccination, and article after article we're finding that she has some condition. Right? She has some condition that causes her to pass out. Has nothing to do with the vaccine. Here she says, it just hit me all of a sudden. I can feel it coming on. I felt a little disorientated, but I feel fine now and the pain in my arm is gone. She then explained her medical condition which causes her to faint when she feels pain. Well, that doesn't seem right because she'd had the vaccine before, 17 minutes before. So was she really in pain? But anyway, here, article after article, they're trying to convince us. Sister Tiffany Dover fainted 17 minutes after receiving the vaccine on television. Dover later said she has a condition that causes her to faint when she feels pain. Once again, she says she isn't skeptical about the vaccine or worried about side effects. Okay, so once again, nothing to do with the vaccine, guys. Right, again here, article after article, doctors say the episode was not related to the ingredients in the vaccine. It's just a massive coincidence, guys. Massive coincidence. She gets the vaccine, 17 minutes later falls to the ground. Nothing to do with the vaccine, right? The condition is known as vasovagal syncope. It's the most common cause of fainting, and triggers include pain, the sight of needles, intense heat, standing for too long, and dehydration. Right? Nothing about massive doses of toxic substances being shot into your blood. Nothing to do with that. That doesn't cause any type of fainting. Couldn't possibly be a trigger. Must be one of these. One after another, they're all talking about how she's fine now. Dover added that she has a condition where fainting sometimes occurs when she feels pain. It's like they're reading from the same script again and again. Whose bright idea was that? Thanks to Daily Mail Online. Nurse who faints when she feels pain has chosen to get Pfizer's vaccine live on air and collapses moments after the jab. Once again, vasovagal syncope, most common cause of fainting. Dover later said she has a condition that causes her to faint when she feels pain. It's the same script over and over again. Tiffany Dover, 30-year-old. Remember that, guys, okay? Remember that. So she's fine. It was just this condition that she has, nothing to do with the vaccine. Go back to sleep. Over and over again. What none of them are telling you is that poor Tiffany Dover is now dead. Yep, you heard that right. They're trying to debunk it. There are people posting it on Facebook and various platforms. It's being taken down, it's being banned, it's being censored, and they're trying to desperately cover up the fact that, you know, maybe they can try and fob us off that she has a condition of fainting and it was nothing to do with the vaccine, but now she's dead. She's 30 years old, didn't appear to suffer from any previous ailment. How are they gonna brush off this as having nothing to do with the COVID vaccine that she was given a few days prior? So they're trying to say that she's not dead. I've seen it in a number of places on social media platforms. Let's have a look. This is Tiffany Dover's biography. 13 things about Chattanooga, Tennessee nurse. Tiffany Lachey Pontes Dover is a white woman from Alabama, United States. She's a registered nurse. Dover is mother of 2. She was born 1990, so she's 30. She's related to Michael Anthony Pontes and Gary L. Pontes. Okay, just so you see this with your own eyes, let's put Tiffany Dover in here. This is searchquarry.com, and we're going to look for record type death, all states, search. See what we can come up with. Okay, if we scroll down here, Tiffany Dover, number 12, Tiffany Dover, 30 years old, Higdon, Alabama. Where is she from? White woman from Alabama. Higdon, Alabama. What was the name of her relatives? Related to Michael Pontes, Gary Pontes, any of those there? Michael Pontes. There he is. So, Tiffany Dover. DeKalb County Death Records Database. Don't believe the hype, guys. And don't believe the hype when they try and cover this up by saying she had some previous condition. Don't be buying it. And we already see the fact checkers are on the case here. Good old Reuters, Rothschild's Reuters. Fact check. Nurse fainting after COVID-19 vaccine, not evidence of potential mass genocide. Okay. And after recovering, she told News Channel 9, it just hit me all of a sudden. I could feel the pain coming on. Same as everyone else. No mention of the fact that she's dead. And links to their propaganda, their COVID-19 vaccine propaganda, just to cement it into your minds that it's all good and you want to go out and get that shot in your arm. So all the fact checkers are out. Fact check. Vaccine reaction did not cause nurse to faint after COVID-19 shot. Yeah, well, did it cause her to die though? That's the problem. And no mention of it whatsoever. Once again, no mention. Same old, same old. So there we have it, guys. I've just demonstrated to you that she is in fact dead. Rest in peace, Tiffany Dover. My condolences to all your family. I hope they do the right thing and get this out to the world. Get people doubting these vaccines these experimental vaccines that they're pushing on people. I hope they do the right thing in the name of their daughter, their sister, their wife, in the name of Tiffany Dover. I hope they do the right thing and don't allow the mainstream media to squash this story, and don't allow it out. And there you have it. The COVID-19 vaccine. Stay well away from it.
Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, is that it?
Why not? I'm here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. I've nurtured every sensation man has been inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted, and I never judged him. Why? Because I never rejected him. In spite of all his imperfections, I'm a fan of man. I'm a humanist. Maybe the last humanist. Who, in their right mind, Kevin, could possibly deny the 20th century was entirely mine? All of it, Kevin! All of it. Mine. I'm peeking, Kevin. It's my time now.
One day, Jesus is coming. You may be at church. You may be at work. You may be asleep. God grant that you will be ready when he makes his personal appearance. My God, what if his appearance occurs on a Sunday morning? My prophetic word to you this morning is get ready, get